Today we're covering a very important topic for your 2017 online marketing planning, and that is how to plan out your email marketing drip campaigns. So drip campaigns are going to be a critical part of pretty much everyone's B2B online marketing plan for 2017, and it's one that does take quite a bit of planning to make sure that it's executed properly and repurposed to its fullest potential. So on today's call, we're going to look at 7 different steps that you'll take to plan out these drip campaigns with us. And also at the end, we're going to email you a link to a Google Doc questionnaire that you can complete quickly and easily. We'll do most of it for you and then ask you to confirm it. But then that would serve as the foundation to all of your email marketing campaigns for 2017. So let's get started by first looking at what exactly is a drip email marketing campaign and why is it so important or so great. So a drip email marketing campaign is the opposite of what many of you have been doing before working with us on your emails, which was lots of you were doing spray and pray email campaigns. So basically taking one message and sending it out to everyone in a contact list, everyone in the audience, and hoping that it resonated with them or it reached them at the right time, which, as you know, is very unlikely. And the success rate of those spray and pray campaigns are not too successful. So in 2016 and probably in late 2015, we started with most of our clients to transition over to drip email marketing campaigns, which is taking a segmented list and a very specific content theme, and then sending out a series of emails to that list. So if the theme was on laboratory weighing, then we would send out that first email, and then if people express interest in that first email, either by opening or clicking, something that we decide when planning out the campaign, such as we're going to do right now, then they would receive that second email in the series, and likewise the third email all the way down to the 5th, 6th, 7th email in that series if they keep interacting with the first ones. So they're expressing implied interest in the technique of weighing inside the lab by either opening or clicking, and that's why they're continuing to get the other emails in the series. So by the end, what you'll see is the engagement metrics, like the opens, the click-throughs, are just a phenomenally high percentage because we've let the garden self-weed itself. So everyone who was not interested simply didn't engage with the previous emails, so they didn't get the next one in the series. So that's one reason why it's been so valuable. But the thing that I love about the B2B drip email marketing campaigns is they're what's called an evergreen marketing tactic. So once we write the content, design it, and code it inside of the email marketing platform, it sits there forever, and we can continue to use it over and over again, as opposed to the I'm sure the pain that all of you feel going through setting up one email blast and all the work that goes into it, sending it out, and then you're just on to the next task in your marketing campaigns. Whereas now you have something that is sitting there. As you add new people to your list, you can start them at the top of that drip campaign funnel and have them go down. So we're going to use a few analogies of the actual water drip drop as we go through here. And we're going to go through each of the 7 steps. So the first step, each of these 7 steps has about 3 to 4 subpoints underneath of it that I'll discuss also. So the first step is choose which well of content that you want to go to for this specific group that you're targeting. So you can put different types of content together as long as they're focused around one of these following things. So I'll stress one of them. So we don't want to do a drip email campaign that focuses on many different techniques or many different applications, because again, then those people aren't self-qualifying themselves as they go through and click on it. So we want to focus on an individual either technique, so laboratory weighing, for example, chromatography, spectroscopy, or a specific application, DNA extraction purification, or a industry, pharmaceutical, Or the other two types of campaigns are more general. So they're still using drip email marketing, but they're more general or broad. So the first one being general lead nurturing. So after someone completes an action on your website where they gave their email address, what are those 7 emails that you want to send to them over the next 7 weeks, for example? Or re-engagement. So what is the email thread that we want to drip out to someone after they've made an inquiry on the site, but then not taken an action afterwards? So step number 1, decide on which of those wells of content you're going to focus on. For this example, we'll just continue using lab weighing as the technique. So step number 2 is now we want to find the audience to send that drip campaign out to. Does anyone know what this guy in the video is, in the picture is doing? He's doing what people still do. We actually did this at my house in Canada. It's out in the countryside on an old farm, and we did this about 6 months ago in the summertime. We witched for a well. Pretty amazing that people can still do this. So that's his divining rod that he has in the photo. And what we want to do is find the audience that we're going to send out this drip email marketing campaign to, now that we've identified in step 1 who's going to see it or what type of content is going to see it. So we pretty much have 3 options. Do you have an in-house list already that we could use for this, whether it's people inside of your CRM or your existing email marketing platform, or just simply emails of people who have inquired on your website or purchased from your website in the past year and a half, 2 years? Or will we be using a list building tool like we've covered, I think it was about 2 or 3 episodes ago? We went through in great detail on list building tools that you can use instead of buying lists to get fresh contacts in to market to. And then finally, will this list, whatever way that we're using to find the audience, will it be a living, growing list? So on a monthly basis, should it be refreshed with new names that are coming in, whether they're new registrations on your website, new people downloading PDFs or inquiring on products? And then what is the process to grow that audience should be addressed in step 2 as well. So on to step number 3, out of that list, now that we have the type of content that we're focused on and the audience for that content, who is going to be most interested, who needs that water, who needs that drop of water most in that group of people? So we want to segment the audience or the potential lists that we're sending to and find the best match for the content. So maybe we use Firmographics in terms of what industry people are in that are on that list. So if we go back to 2 webinars ago, and we talked about using a tool called Clearbit to enhance the data of the customer to identify what NCIS code they are in, then we could use that firmographic data to target them, segment it. Or behavioral, meaning which product did they inquire on your website where you originally captured it, or the third option, which would be what source of email list did they come from. So if you, for example, got the attendee list of the oil and gas show, then you can label them as that industry and determine if they would be a good fit for step number 1, which was that content. Step number 4 is we want to decide at the very start of this how often we want to message this audience with the content and when we want to do it. So it's really 6 aspects here. So we want to first of all look at who we want to send that next email to in the series. So we'll have a discussion and decide if you want to send it to only to people who clicked in the first email in the series or the previous email in the series, or if you want to send it to the people who opened. So the discussion there is, clickers versus openers, is if the subject line is very evident as towards what the content of the email is about, then you might want to send it to all of the openers of the previous email. It will still narrow down the list, and you will still see higher engagement metrics as we go down the series of emails. Because if the subject line says, underbalance lab weighing application note, then people know what that email is about before they open it. So again, that's implied interest in that email, in that subject. Or everyone. Some of the email drip marketing campaigns that we build will be ones that are applicable to everyone on the list. And so sometimes we'll just, like a re-engagement campaign or a lead nurturing campaign, or for a general product that everyone uses in their lab, we might want to continue to send it out to everyone in the entire series and not remove people from the list if they do not open or click. So those are 3 things we want to determine at the very start of the campaign. Also, what day of the week, what time of the day, and what frequency do we want to send out the series of emails at? This is much more basic. So for example, 11 a.m. on Wednesdays every other week. So number 5, now that we have those 4 basics in place, we want to build a content outline, a blueprint as to what assets we have that we can fill these email messages with. So we want to look at what content assets that we have. These might come from your internal application library if you're a manufacturer, or technical support, knowledge base, or if you're a distributor, then go to the manufacturer's site and we'll inventory these items that are available that would make good content for these drip email marketing campaigns. Also, not just content, but tools. If you're a distributor for a centrifuge company, maybe they have a mobile app that calculates RCF and RPM calculations, or a router configurator. So that's something that we can also talk about in those e-newsletter threads. The content, we really want to balance. We want to kind of turn the faucets correctly, so we have a mix of hot water and cold water. The hot stuff being the how-to, the helpful, the informative content, and the cold content, which is stuff that doesn't generally get as much of a warm reception from customers, which is why we want to mix it in with the warm content, is that promotional content. So we want to, assign the creation of those promotions to your team internally. So if you're able to give 50% off consumables with the purchase of a system or whatever it is, those are things that we need your direction on to put into the editorial plan, the content plan. And then also we'll work with you to determine what is new and interesting in that space. In lab weighing, for example, that should go into the content. And we're going to take all of that, and just like a magazine, we're going to put it on an editorial calendar for the year. But step 5 is really critical and probably one of the most time-consuming phases of it, because we need to really inventory and search for the content that we want to put into the messages. So now that we have the high-level plan done, let's take a look at the individual message itself. And before the team starts writing content, our team starts writing the content and designing the blasts, and then lastly, finally coding them in the email marketing service provider, let's look at some of the key elements of that message that we want to send. So one thing we really need from you is, since you chose that technique, lab weighing, and the industry that you're sending it to, what is your unique selling proposition into that technique or industry? And share that with us so that we can position that usually in 2 places in the email, somewhere above the fold in the top of it, and then reaffirming it again at the bottom. So maybe it's that you have the broadest range of XYZ products on the market, or you have 4 experts with this experience who can support those products in-house. Whatever it is, share that USP, unique sales proposition, with us as why someone who's receiving this email should take you up on the offer to talk about these products as opposed to one of your competitors. Also, what your desired call to action is. If you have one application expert on your sales team that you want everyone to call about this one particular product line, then make sure you communicate that to us so they're not going into the main circuit board and having to navigate around your phone tree to find it from there. Let's get them the call to action to remove all of the friction between them getting the email and getting to the right salesperson on your team. Also, what's the design strategy? Is this email going to biomeds, for example, who are usually roaming around the hospital or the lab and only looking at emails on their cell phone and rarely at their desk. So does the design strategy for the email have to be mobile first, or maybe just even plain text? Lots of EDUs are receiving emails with the images always blocked on them. So sending plain text email campaigns might be very beneficial into an EDU market. And finally, what's the branding of it? For example, our e-newsletter that goes out is called the Clever Clients newsletter when it goes to clients, and then the modified version of it that goes to non-clients, to prospects, is called Clever Insights. So, is there a certain branding element that we want to work into your campaigns as well? Last but not least, let's look at how these campaigns are going to be measured. We obviously need to determine what the success goals, the KPIs, are going to be at the start of the campaigns before we launch them, and also how can we make it easiest for you to follow up on them and your sales team. So you can imagine this audience was responding to this drip of water that we're giving them, and now this photo depicts your sales team turning on the hoses and really blasting them with a sales effort, something that's actionable. So let's determine what the KPIs are going to be. So if you want your sales team to call on everyone who opened and clicked on an email the following day or within 24 hours about that message, how can we reduce that friction? Do you want us to take that list from your email marketing service provider and enter it into your your CRM, content relationship management system, or assign them to the right sales reps, or just simply create a spreadsheet for your sales manager, or create a spreadsheet for specific sales reps based on the person who opened the email and send those to them? But we want to figure out how you can really leverage the email marketing campaign to generate true sales, and usually that is to have a real person follow up on the people who have really raised their hand and said, I'm very interested in this email offer that I received, but they did not follow through with contacting you. So this is kind of how lots of our clients are increasing the results of their email campaigns tenfold. I mean, we're increasing it tenfold by getting it to more people, getting them to engage with it, and then taking that as another multiplier, having the sales team actually following up on it, is generating huge results. So that is the 7 steps to planning out a drip email marketing campaign, and we want to work with you to fine tune all of these. So we'll send over a Google Doc, which is kind of like in a checklist form, fill in the blank form. We'll give you some direction on maybe certain techniques or applications or industries we think would be really good for you to pursue with these. And then we'll go from there so that we can hit the ground running January 1st, start preparing the content and design, and have you approve these in a flat image file before they get coded, and then have them coded in your email marketing platform, test out those emails, set them up, and then you have them running all of 2017. So really looking forward to working with you guys on this. Thanks a lot for your time.